Hello my loves, what's up, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a new pick a card reading, and this one is your April love life prediction. So your love life in the month of April of 2022. What is going to happen? So we're gonna try to get as much information as possible in today's reading. If you are new to pick a card readings, I'm gonna give you a quick little rundown of how they work. So over here we have a pile number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can go ahead, pause the video if you'd like to find the pile that you are the most drawn towards. Then once you're done choosing your pile, you can then scroll down to the comment box or the description box to find the timestamp that is linked to your specific card. And then you can skip ahead and watch your personal reading all about your love life in the month of April. If you like to choose with crystals on the cards, if you find that helps, then let's go ahead and pop some crystals on these cards. All right, my loves, so if you like to choose with crystals, here are our crystal options. Over here on group number 1, we have this beautiful bismuth piece. And then over here on group number 2, we have this gorgeous amethyst. Then on group number 3, we have some citrine. And then over on group number 4, we have some rose quartz. And then over on group number 5, we have some malachite. So those are our crystal options for today's video. Again, take a moment to pause the video if you'd like to find the pile that you are the most drawn towards. Then once you're done choosing your pile, you can then scroll down to the comment box or the description box to find the timestamp that is linked to your specific card. And then you can skip ahead and watch your personal reading all about your love life for the month of April of 2022. So with that being said, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into today's video. All right, so group 1, here's what we have for you. We start off with the 5 of Wands, then we have the King of Wands, Justice, the Wheel of Fortune, and then the 5 of Pentacles. We are surrounded by 2 different 5s. Then we have Justice in the middle, which is the Scales. So there's a lot of interesting balance here. So your love life in April, I think, is about rebalancing yourself and also coming to a decision, because sometimes balance can mean that we have a choice. And when we start off with the card, the 5 of Wands, this can mean that either we're at a conflict within ourselves, or we're experiencing some certain disagreements or hurdles, challenges, or conflicts within our love life. So this could either be internal or external, or even a reflection of both of those. But regardless, the 5 of Wands means that there's things that we're trying to hash out and figure out. What is going to be the winning side of this? Do we stay? Do we go? What are the pros? What are the cons? What is this? What is that? We're coming to a point of needing to make a decision within our love lives. And I think that we're a little bit confused about it. And we don't know what the right choice is. But April is going to be about figuring out what the right choice is for you. When it's next to the King of Wands, I think that you're feeling an intense energy in the month of April. And this energy is starting to bring about you stepping into your confidence. So I think the whole reason why you're experiencing this conflict or indecision somewhere within your love life is because there is this need to bring about more confidence and to actually say what's on your mind, and also set proper boundaries as well. Justice is about finding boundaries. Justice is about balance, so that one thing isn't oh, you're allowed to do this, but then I'm not, or imbalances within certain things. So we need to have set boundaries, fairness, justice, truth. It's also about truth coming out, right? So this is about us speaking our truth and about us needing to put our foot down about something. So are we going to keep our standards at a certain height? Or do we need to raise the bar to raise our standards because we're realizing hey, I deserve more than what I've been currently getting? Or have we been settling, or have we been letting people walk all over us? Or have we been compromising ourselves too much and not sticking to our honesty and our truth and our authenticity? What has been this imbalance? So April is about bringing about the awareness of this so that we can change our fortune, the Wheel of Fortune, so we can spin our fortune to a new direction, and we don't have to continue landing on the same spot that we've kind of become a little bit frustrated with, It's kind of the Wheel of Fortune is when either we're we're spinning some negative fortunes and we're like, I don't like what I keep getting, or we're stuck in a pattern or a cycle and we keep running into the same thing over and over again. So this is about breaking cycles. April is about breaking cycles and also shifting your fortune by putting your foot down. And I also see you really raising your bar of your standards and your values and how much you value yourself, because you're stepping into a lot more confidence where I think you're beginning to see your worth. And I think you're also beginning to think about what would inspire me most within my love life. And I think it's fair to ask for that. But we also need to have balance and fairness. So whatever we're asking for, we also must be willing to give, right? So it needs to be a balance. And we're also needing to set those boundaries and actually speak those needs and those desires. You know, and if something's not meeting that, we might need to spin the wheel again. We might need to take our chances on something. So it also looks like in the month of April, there might be certain fears around taking chances. And maybe that's why we've been reaching certain conflicts, because we're wondering like, oh, well, if I choose this, if I make a decision, because justice is about making a decision, we're unsure where the wheel's going to land next. We're almost like gambling our future away. So it might be a little bit scary, right? But at the same time, we have to take risks if we want to attain the best. And we can't just settle for less, especially if your heart has been telling you like there's certain stuff like coming up within the last little while and also within the month of April. Like it's really important to listen to that, because every chance that we don't take, we're going to be thinking about for the rest of our lives. You know what I mean? Like we're never going to know what the unknown holds for us. And again, we can't live too much in the unknown, because then we don't have any solidity. But there needs to be a good balance of, you know, not just sticking to the same old, especially if you've been feeling like it's not really meant for you, or it's not living up to your expectations, or it's not living up to your standards. If you have certain standards for yourself, then it's time to spin the wheel until you land on the standards that you do want for yourself. And this isn't about gambling your love life away. This is not about that. This is about putting your foot down about what you want and deserve, and realizing that that does exist. It's all part of the same wheel, right? But we keep getting too scared to spin it. We keep getting too scared. We're holding ourselves back, even though we're stuck on a place that we don't necessarily want. So say you're stuck at one of the bottom ones, and let's say that everything kind of near the bottom is like, not so bueno. We're already stuck there. So why not take our chances? I mean, either we're gonna, we can keep spinning the wheel until we finally get something that we desire, or something that's better than where we currently are. Because if you don't like your current state of being, if you don't like where you currently are, well, then it's time to get up and create what you do want. You are the creator of your reality, okay? So there could be a fear of loneliness that comes up with the 5 of Pentacles that we have right here. So there could be certain fears around like, oh, I don't want to be lonely for the rest of my life, and what if I never find anything? And, I think that what's coming up here is getting beyond fears and realizing that your values and your desires and your standards should be like something that we're striving to find. We shouldn't have to settle for something that's so less. Of course, there's certain compromises that we're always going to have to make in life, right? But if we're settling for something that's so less, so much less, maybe that's not the thing for us then. Maybe it's time for us to find something that better suits us. Or at least put our foot down so that we can be honest, so that we can actually start to get what we deserve. But we can't let it be fear driven. We can't cling on to something just out of fear of loneliness, And we can't cling on to something, because of fears. We can hang on to something because we see its worth and we see its value, and we see it actually becoming and blossoming into what we need and want. But we can't do it from a place of fear of being lonely, because then what is the point of that, right? It's almost like a kid that's too scared to let go of its stuffed animal because the kid is too afraid to sleep alone. It's similar to that. So that's just it's an unhealthy attachment. We can have healthy attachments, but there's also then unhealthy attachments. So this is us kind of breaking free of those things and realizing that we just need to put our foot down and kind of step into our confidence and our worth, know what we are worthy of, and yeah, April's about kind of figuring that out and navigating that. So lots of navigation in that area. The next couple cards, or next few cards that we have past life relationship. Whoo! So you might have like known this person from your past. Someone from your past might be coming back up. This can sometimes indicate that. Or this can just indicate that certain things from the past that have been undealt with are coming back so that we can finally have a chance to deal with them. And we're facing certain maybe past issues or past trauma so that we can finally clear them and move forward in life and move forward in our love life. Ooh, we also have reconciliation. So yeah, I mean, someone from the past could definitely be coming back, or we could be like, I also see you mending the past. And it's not necessarily that you're getting back together with an ex, but it could be that you're just mending past hurt so that you're no longer hurt from it anymore. Because maybe it's finally time to like clear the air on something that might be still bothering you. This could also be a reconciliation of you and an ex, but I think for most of you, I see this being the healing of something in your past that hadn't been healed. All right, and then the other card that we have is true love. So I think that there's a deep desire within you to maybe align with true love, or to figure out what does true love really look like. I think that April is about figuring out what true love really is. Again, it's like unhealthy attachments versus healthy attachments. What really is true love? And true love can only be had once we've kind of like healed some of our past and some of our traumas from the past that keep us maybe in unhealthy attachments. So as we heal like our inner child, we no longer feel the need to like cling on to and attach to our stuffed animal that is not really serving an actual healthy purpose as we get older, you know? So maybe there's certain relationships in our lives that would be a good idea to either let go of or transform in some way so that it's no longer an unhealthy attachment and a need, and it just comes from a place of like, oh, I just desire to be with you, but it's not coming from like, I'm so scared to be alone, like, you know? Where is this actually stemming from? Is it stemming from true love, or is it stemming from past hurt? And I think that April is going to be this big like decision factor of kind of like figuring that out within yourself. The next two cards that we have Moonlight. So this is when we're navigating a kind of unknown area or our subconscious. So I think since we've been talking a lot about, you know, stuff kind of like coming up, a lot of this could be unconscious. So there's like some unconscious stuff that might be coming up in the month of April in order to finally be healed. The moonlight also has a kind of like magical essence to it because it kind of reveals to us the right amount at the right time. It's also interesting that it looks like there's a hurricane on the moon right there. So it's kind of like there's something definitely going to be prominent that is coming up in the month of April, but it's in order for you to kind of deal with it. And it might kind of seem small at first, but I think as we go through, we're kind of going to realize how much it's actually transforming us. Even though it might have seemed small, it's actually transforming you on a really big level. We also have intention, so newness. There's an intention to kind of make, or like there's a new you that sort of wants to crack open, and this new you is this more confident person that puts their foot down, knows what they want, puts up proper boundaries, has the important conversations, speaks their authentic truth. So that's all going to be really important. We also have the angel number 22 right here. This deals with partnership and the right foundation, because together it equals a 4, right? So that's our proper foundation. So a partnership cannot be built when there's not a proper foundation. When we haven't had the important conversations, when we haven't set a proper boundary so that we're sitting on the same page, we're going to get imbalances. So April's going to be about figuring those out. The next couple cards that we have the fire ant and the zebra. Okay, so guys, you know what's actually interesting about this? I haven't pulled out these cards in a while, but this card is the first card of the fire signs of this card, and then this is the last card of the fire animals. So this is actually really interesting that you have the first and the last. So this is opening one page, closing another. And I really want to read you guys what the fire ant actually says in the book, because it's going to say it way better than I can. But basically, the meaning of the fire ant when it appears is it says, fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or situation, only making things worse. How can you break free from the drama and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend that the heat isn't getting to you. And then the zebra energy is very powerful. So let's go to the zebra energy. Zebras are the most precious of gems. They are young at heart, well-cultured, and have undying curiosity about life. Being in the company of a zebra personality is not only a delight, but also opens our minds. Be prepared, their potent magic is contagious, and you may soon find yourself in a faraway land, expanding your worldview while having a blast. Zebras also like to contribute to the global health through environmental or volunteer work. This card may be a hint to pack your bags. So that card sometimes deals with travel, I guess, as it kind of like alluded to. But the fire ant energy is interesting because kind of like with the 5 of Wands that we have right here, this is total like fire ant energy in the beginning. So we might be kind of like, yeah, there's something kind of coming up for us to sort of deal with in the month of April within our love life that kind of needs like attention to it so that we can kind of cure it and heal it and bring it back to balance so that we're not imbalanced. The King of Wands can also be a card that symbolizes that we have like some fire beneath us, but it's mostly because we're a passionate person. We have a lot of energy. But when things are kind of like imbalanced, it is noticeable. Although the Wands have the tendency to be really optimistic about things regardless of what's happening. So I guess the month of April is a time to be like really honest with yourself. All these small little things that might be getting to you, because fire ants, they're really small, but they're also really potent. So you might notice that small little things might be sort of like coming at you or popping up in your mind, and they're popping up for a reason. So it's time for us to kind of face what is causing this, because it's all coming from a particular source, right? Kind of like this hurricane on the moon almost looks like a little anthill where the ants pop out of. So it's time for us to finally like go to the source of what is causing this, right? Because all these little ants are stemming from somewhere. All these little annoyances are stemming from somewhere. So where is it stemming? We need to deal with the source of the problem. And then once we deal with the source of the problem, we might realize that, hey, we don't want to be in that situation anymore. We don't deserve to be in that situation, constantly getting small little attacks or small little annoyances. For one, that's something that we do need to heal within ourselves, because everything external is a reflection of the internal, but at the same time, we don't need to continue putting ourselves in that situation over and over and over again. So it's either time for us to put our foot down, set proper boundaries, or walk away from certain situations. Especially since Zebra, the end part of it was like, maybe it's time to pack your bags. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are like going through a breakup or anything like that, but it can signify that maybe we need some space. Maybe we need to take some time away. Also, what's sticking out to me is the fact that the zebra is black and white, and that can symbolize that sometimes things may seem like really black and white. Like we may feel like we have a completely different perspective as somebody else, but it's also really kind of like obvious to see the contrast once we do look at it. So with some space, it might become really clear to you where the problem is and where the solution is as we get more space and we take time out of the situation. Because always with a bird's eye view, we can see things with a lot more clarity, which I think is the energy of the zebra. I think that you're going to feel better once you're taking, more space and more time away. And I think that it is also going to bring a lot of clarity to your situation. The last two cards that we have, then we have the card of prosperity and the card of imagination. So 2 beautiful cards to end us off in this reading. So prosperity, I think after all of this is said and done, after, we've had our time to gain clarity and kind of gain our space or take our space from the situation, as we gain that clarity, I think it's going to be obvious where we should go next, or where the abundance lies, right? Because it's going to become clear where the solution is within this issue. And as we move towards that solution, I think things will become much more fruitful and abundant again, and we're going to feel a lot better about the situation. But I think it is going to require taking some space, because I hear Spirit just saying, take space, take time to be alone. Don't rush back into situations. Don't rush back into the heat of it. Like, why would we rush back into the heat of it? That doesn't solve the problem. But when we take time to look from a bird's eye view, we can see where the problem is stemming from. Like, look at, as she takes some time away from the world, all of a sudden she can see that's where the hurricane is. That's where the center of the problem is. And when we see that, we can also see where the solution is. So again, I really think that this is saying to take some time away, to reflect. And then we also have the card of imagination. And this is kind of, I think you're a very highly creative person, but I also think this is the energy of sort of imagining what you want your life to be like and realizing like, hey, that is possible, but I need to be able to have the confidence to step into the unknown in order to let my imagination really flourish and see the potentials of what could really blossom in my life. And there's a lot of possibility out there for you, but it really just, it's up to you what you want to follow in your life and the future that you want to kind of create for yourself. So that is what we have here. Group number 1, it looks like there's going to be lots of solving, and we're finally kind of realizing where certain things are stemming from. Tons of healing, and I see you really coming out on top and sort of being able to birth into this new kind of potential. And the zebra is such a great card as well, and that one is, you know, finally coming back to our optimism because we understand why our situation is the way it is. So there's going to be a lot of understanding, a lot of conquering, and a lot of overcoming certain old things that were maybe popping up in our love lives. So that is what we have for you, group number 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I would love to have you there. And hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Bye. All right, so group number 2, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be your reading, so I'll hop right into it. All right, so group number 2, here's what we have for you. So we start off with the High Priestess, then we have the 8 of Pentacles being reversed, then we have the King of Pentacles upright, 3 of Pentacles, King of Cups, and then the Knight of Cups. So lots of people cards here, and we're going to get into that in a second. But first off, when we start off this reading with the High Priestess, this can indicate that we are kind of taking a back seat in our love life, and maybe we're kind of like waiting and watching, and, you know, maybe we're also not wanting to be super forward about our love life at the moment. Maybe we have other things that are taking priority in our life, and we're also just wanting other people to kind of put in the effort, right? We're not wanting to jump out with our heart on our sleeve and just be completely open and completely like this can indicate that we're either going through a period of being shy, going through a period of just wanting to be on our own, within our own energy, and we're also just not wanting to overly spend our energy within our love life because maybe we just have other stuff going on, things like that. The 8 of Pentacles being reversed right next to it almost like just confirms this High Priestess energy, because when the 8 of Pentacles is reversed, it's kind of like we're not wanting to put tons of effort into it. Maybe we just don't have the time, or maybe we've been noticing in the past that we've put in so much effort towards our love life, and maybe we're kind of just like, I want somebody else to do the work rather than me always like coming forward to put in tons of effort. In the month of April though, we have the King of Pentacles coming up. So this could either be a desire all of a sudden on your part, maybe about halfway through April where we're like, I'm kind of like intrigued and interested into putting a little bit more effort into my love life. And, you know, I think that there's a desire to maybe create something really solid, to have a good amount of security within your life, and security within knowing that your love life is being taken care of, and things like that. But we also have these 2 cards over here and the 3 of Pentacles. So might I ask, if you are single, is there multiple people that you are interested in? Or in the month of April, is there going to be multiple people that you are interested in? This could even be that we're thinking about previous people in our love life, and we're kind of thinking like, ooh, like, you know, should I go back to that? Should I do this? Should I do that? This person has this part that I want, but then those people have that part that I want, and da-da-da-da. Like, this can sometimes signify like a lover's triangle. It can sometimes signify that we're just thinking about a lot of people or seeing a lot of people. If you are already in a relationship, I would imagine that these cards are more of talking about the energy rather than people. So the energy of the King of Pentacles is one where we're just wanting to create more solidity and have a solid foundation where things are sort of figured out and they're not just sporadic everywhere. You know, we're really wanting to have more solidity in our love life and have like our schedules figured out, and also have like a balanced give and take where we don't feel like we're putting in so much effort and not really getting much back. We're wanting to have, you know, somebody who really desires to put in effort to show us how much they love us and how much they want to do for us and all that kind of stuff. And this is also kind of balancing your love life in a way where it feels more collaborative and it feels more like we're working together rather than it being imbalanced, because there's some sort of balance that you're wanting to bring back to your love life, because it seems like it's been a little bit imbalanced for the past little while. And now it's just time to like bring back the balance, you know? We don't want to be with someone where it feels like we're putting in all the effort, and nor do we want to be with somebody where they're just putting in 100% of the effort and we're just sitting back and like, because that's not fair, right? So the month of April is kind of figuring out where's the balance in your love life. And if those of you who are single, if it applies to you, because sometimes this card can indicate like lover's triangle energy, especially if you're single and like there's a lot of suitors around you, then that card would kind of indicate that sort of energy and needing to kind of figure out who it is that you want to give your time to. But yeah, with that being said, the next two cards that we have is King of Cups and the Knight of Cups. So by the end of April, I see a lot of you kind of figuring out what your emotions are really calling you towards and what you desire emotionally. I also see you kind of like sorting out and finding more balance within your love life and finding out what it is you really want, and probably like getting back to a more even, collaborative, equal sort of partnership. And this is when we sort of figure out what's emotionally really fulfilling to us. And I also see that like some kind of events might take place by the end of April where we are sort of like now doing things that are really emotionally fulfilling to us. Like we're feeling like there's equality, there's understanding, and that our emotions are being heard and taken care of. This could even be you taking care of your own emotions and being like, I'm just gonna like treat myself, things like that. But for those of you that will have, you know, somebody in your life, I really see this kind of like mutual understanding and a desire to really like put in effort towards each other. And like dates and stuff like that by the end of April, I'm definitely seeing like dates or just things where, you know, we're just taking care of ourselves. Like this can be interpreted as self-love. This can be interpreted as lots of love and expression from another person, just depending on, you know, if you're single or you have somebody, right? It is a general reading, so I like to point out both options, but it's just a lot of like good energy flowing in towards the end of April, where we are definitely feeling more emotionally filled, way more than we did at the beginning of the month, because the beginning of the month is kind of the complete opposite, where we're kind of just like giving up and not wanting to put in effort and sort of waiting on the back burner for somebody to like, you know, show up when they haven't been. So it definitely looks like things are returning to balance for you, group number 2. The next 3 cards that we have, we have the card of passion. Ooh. So definitely April is about finding passion once again within your love life and finding your passion for your love life. This could either be the desire for love, or for those of you that have somebody in your life, I definitely see some steaminess happening in the month of April, and kind of like a reconnection of like re-understanding each other and wanting to like really hold each other, be there for each other, things like that. And again, if you're single and like people are out of the question for you, this is just kind of reigniting your passion for love and for your emotions, to find, you know, more emotional fulfillment and things like that, rather than kind of like putting your love life on the back burner. Then we also have keep an open mind. So April's probably about kind of opening up your mind a little bit, especially since we kind of had a little bit of this closed off energy over here at the beginning of the month. So we might have been kind of like closing our mind off to certain opportunities. We might have been closing our mind off to certain possibilities, or closing our mind to our partner's like needs and why things have been the way they've been. So I think that there's going to be like deeper understanding in the month of April that's going to kind of like clear the air for a lot of you, and again reignite more passion and things like that. We also have the card of engagement. So this is when we feel really finally engaged in our love life. It doesn't have to actually mean like pure engagement, especially for those of you that does not apply to. This would be being like really intrigued and engaged into conversation, engaged into a certain particular event that's taking place in your life, or really engaged into a particular person, like reigniting that engagement and that interest. It's like being really interested, right? Like when you're really engaged with something, when you're really engaged with a book, when you're really engaged with a task that you're doing, it kind of means that your focus and your awareness and your interest is like, you know, hyper focused on that one thing. And so for those of you in this reading, this would be kind of like getting reignited. Your passion and your engagement is getting reignited in your love life, and things are kind of like feeling really good, and this is moving towards more emotional fulfillment and things like that. So all good things. The next two cards that we have here, we have the card of compass. So yeah, definitely shifting directions. The compass card talks about shifting directions, and that makes total sense because we're kind of going from a more maybe neglected love life. Maybe not neglected, that's kind of a harsh word, but I don't know, sort of just like love life on the back burner. And now it's kind of like coming to the forefront. So there's definitely a shift in direction with your love life happening. Oh, and then look at that, we have commitment as well. So yeah, we're reigniting a more, like a deeper commitment to our love life. Rather than it being on the back burner, the tides are shifting and we're getting more committed into our love life, more engaged with it. Some of you guys might be making a commitment to somebody, especially if some of you have had like multiple people, you know, that you were thinking about possibly dating. There could be a possibility for a deeper commitment and making a choice with that. Or maybe some of you were waiting around for somebody to choose you, and maybe you've kind of like given them the ultimatum or something, and you're like, okay, well, either you're going to date me exclusively or not at all. You know, maybe some of you are going through a situation like that. For those of you that are already in a relationship, maybe we're realizing that we've kind of been taking our love life for granted a little bit, and we're kind of needing to return back into that commitment and that engagement, sort of shift directions here to bring focus back to our love life. So yeah, for those of you who chose this group, pile number 2, like you are definitely getting deeper into love life again. And if those of you that are like totally single again, I want to reiterate that it definitely looks like you're getting reignited and passions are re-arising for your love life, a desire to, you know, focus on your love life a little bit more. The next two cards that we have the bee and we have the swan. Ooh. So the bee is like the worker bee energy, and this means that we're putting in effort. Whereas before we didn't want to put in effort. We had 8 of Pentacles being reversed over here. Like there was a desire to not put in effort, you know, but yeah, I think it's shifting around because the bees desire to enjoy the honey, and they also create the honey. So we have to work to create the honey. We can't just expect the honey to be there. So the month of April is kind of like realizing, oh, I kind of have to put effort in if I want to enjoy the honey, if I want to bring back the passion, the engagement, if I want to switch directions, have more commitment, I need to put in the effort. I can't just be sitting around waiting for effort to find me. Effort does not find us. We create the effort, right? We have to create the honey. So it's time for us to go out there, you know, create the honey. I see that that's going to be something that you guys are doing, and just putting in more effort. And I also think somebody else is going to put in more effort towards you as well. So definitely seeing that as well. The swan is all about beauty and grace. And so there could also be this desire to kind of focus on like that self-care and that self-love again, because, you know, maybe we're reigniting our passion for our love life, obviously, which is kind of what we've been talking about. And through that, there might even be a desire like, oh, I want to like really focus on my beauty again and like, you know, be my best version of myself and take care of myself so that I feel my best, so that I can be really confident and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely seeing that as well. It's also interesting that it's kind of like the swan is swimming in water, but if we look at these two images, they're actually drawn differently, so it's almost like two different swans. Because if you really look close at this card, the two swans are not actually a complete reflection. They're like drawn differently. If we look at the feathers and stuff like that, they're actually two different swans. So it's also making me think of like a connection between you and somebody, like a deeper connection, a deeper engagement, coming together also, because those two swans are sort of like coming together there. So yeah, that's another aspect of that card. The next two that we have here, we have dream sweet, sleep deep. So maybe some of our stressors are finally being eased in the month of April, and we're finally feeling like, I don't have to worry anymore. I don't have to like stay up at night about this. Energy's being cleared and whatnot. This can also be an indicator that our dreams are going to be really important and might be reflecting a lot of important signs and information about our love life. And so if you don't keep a dream journal, I'd highly recommend keeping one, even if all you can remember when you wake up is a certain emotion or whatever, a certain color, whatever you remember. Just to like start keeping a dream journal, and doing that right when you wake up is usually when we remember our dreams the most. So that can be something that's really relevant for some of you that are watching this. But I'm definitely seeing like sleeping like a baby in the month of April rather than being up all night. And yeah, I just see like more sleep, more ease, like taking care of yourself, feeling like there's no more front up, you know, there's no more like anxiousness. It's kind of like we're just feeling more relaxed. And then we also have organization. So yeah, I mean, we're organizing our love life a little bit better. Maybe we're also finding more time for it, because there could have been like a lack of time for your love life since we had the Eight of Pentacles being reversed. You know, either we just weren't willing to put in so much effort, or maybe we just weren't willing to put in that kind of effort because we just didn't have the time to do so, right? So I see kind of maybe a reorganizing of your life. And this can also be reorganizing of your schedule. So since maybe more of your love life is becoming more prominent during the month of April, maybe we're realizing like, hey, I kind of have to reorganize my life and what I usually spend my time doing, because now I'm needing to like carve out more time for intimacy and love and romance and things like that. So we're kind of like reorganizing our lives a little bit, but in the end, it's all kind of like a really good thing. So that is what we have there. We are going to go ahead and take our Astro dice. We're going to roll the zodiac sign dice 3 times to get the top 3 zodiac signs that are most likely going to be the most prominent during the month of April for you. So let's see what comes up. We have Aries energy. We have Libra energy. Libra energy again. And Pisces energy. So Aries, Libra, and Pisces. Let's go ahead and roll these all together now to get any last info on this reading. All right, so we have Saturn in Scorpio in the 8th house. Ooh. So this is bringing up some maybe deep subconscious desires. The 8th house can also be a house where like steamy romance can kind of take place. I'm going to try to keep this video like as PG as possible, but let's just say the 8th house kind of like deals with some things, like some romantic things, and especially with Scorpio being there as well. But maybe we're realizing that, you know, the fact that we have Saturn here can mean that we are kind of like digging up our old ways of being, and we're kind of having to like maybe renew kind of like our old subconscious habits or patterns or our old desires. So I think your old desires are also shifting during the month of April, and we're kind of like digging up old emotions too, old emotions that might have kept us stuck and trapped, so that we can finally transform those into something that serves us. This can also be creating better boundaries in your love life, especially around like unconscious sort of desires or unconscious restrictions that you put on yourself or on others or within your partnerships. And so this is kind of like digging up maybe certain stuff that has actually kept us stuck, you know, in order for it to kind of surface up so that we can kind of like shift those old limitations. And this is also about kind of like putting on boundaries. So like not rushing into things. The High Priestess is not, she doesn't rush into stuff. She doesn't just let anyone into her garden, you know what I mean? So this can also be digging up, you know, ways that we want to put better boundaries on our love life so that we can, I don't know, just bring out more engagement from other people, to bring out more communication, to bring out more solidity and more of an emotional connection, because we have solidity and emotional connection coming up really prominent here. So if we desire to have a deeper emotional connection and a more solid foundation, maybe there's certain boundaries we need to put up in our love life. Maybe, and it's not necessarily like boundaries, like there's certain boundaries that are healthy, certain boundaries that are then restrictive and controlling. So it needs to be like, more of the proper healthy boundaries where we kind of just have certain values that we're not willing to compromise on. And also, this can also be like a deeper commitment to getting deeper in your love life. Maybe we're just desiring to get deeper and have like a more solid, deeper connection. So yeah, that's what we have over here for you, group number 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I'd love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye. All right, so group number 3, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be a reading. So let's hop right into it. All right, so group 3, this is what we have for you. We have the 10 of Cups, the 9 of Cups, the 3 of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and then the 6 of Cups. So many cup cards. So definitely it's going to be an emotional month in the month of April, but these are all really good emotional cards. And we have the Ace of Wands too, which is another really great card. So honestly, group 3, your love life in the month of April, it looks really nice. It looks very fulfilling and really great. When we start off with the 10 of Cups over here, this is one of the best cards in all of tarot, because this card is all about emotional fulfillment and feeling like you're on cloud 9, to say the least. And we also have the 9 of Cups, which is also being on cloud 9. This card is all about attaining some kind of wish, something that we've been wishing for, something we've been hoping for. It feels like it's being fulfilled, and our emotions are just way high. The 10 of Cups can also signify spending time with family, or I don't know, just family in some way is sort of usually connected to this card, or just some type of emotional fulfillment where it just feels like things are going our way. There's things to like celebrate. There's things to like jump for joy about. Like we feel like we could dance, a lot in our day, because it just feels like there's just a lot going on that we are excited about. You might even be receiving some sort of gift or some sort of like beautiful invitation from somebody that you really love. The 3 of Cups is also about a celebration. So is there something that's celebratory in the month of April that's happening for you, or happening in your life, group number 3? Because this is definitely all about celebration right here. And spending time with really good people. So even if those of you who are single that don't really have anybody in your life, I really don't see loneliness at all in the month of April. I see you spending time with like tons of people, family, friends, feeling emotionally really fulfilled, feeling great. I think that there's going to be people that are celebrating you. You might even be receiving some sort of gift or something like that, or just something that you've been desiring or asking for, whether that be like a deep friendship or something that you've been desiring to make you feel more emotionally fulfilled. It's just things are really going your way in the month of April, whether you're single or in a relationship, because both of them, they look very positive. It looks like there's tons of emotional fulfillment. I don't see loneliness at all. It just looks like you're surrounded by really good souls that really understand you, that get you. And again, there's some sort of like celebrations that are happening in the month of April. The Ace of Wands over here can signify a new beginning happening. And when we're talking about love life, especially with all this celebration, there could be some sort of like, I don't know, something, a new beginning or something to get really excited about in the month of April. This could also be a new desire sprouting for you. So a new desire within your love life. And maybe we have something new coming up that we're really excited about. Like maybe we're going on a trip. Maybe we are talking to somebody new. Maybe we are reaching a new level with our lover. Maybe we're reaching a new height together and we're entering a new stage of our relationship. But the Ace of Wands, it just holds so much potential. It holds a lot of passion and inspiration. So it just looks like there's a lot of support, and there's a lot of support between friends and family here. A lot of like emotional support, a lot of support in general, just from the people that you're surrounded by. And this new beginning is like looking really positive and really good. The Six of Cups can sometimes indicate that we are connecting from people from our past. This could be friends from our past. It could be people that we just haven't seen in a long time, people that we haven't talked to in a long time. Sometimes it can also indicate exes, but just regarding like every other card in this reading, I'm not really seeing this being an ex. I more see this being like friends from the past, people that you used to know. I'm mostly seeing it in that way, and maybe reconnecting with people that we haven't seen in a while. So I think that that's going to be another aspect of the month of April, is like reconnecting with people that we haven't seen in a long time, and just feeling really good. And again, having like support. The Six of Cups can also indicate receiving a gift, and so can the Nine of Cups. So since we have both of these cards within this reading, I am just oddly feeling that you are receiving some sort of gift. This could be a physical gift. It could be an emotional gift. It could be just something that we've been asking for, something that we've been desiring, that we've been wanting to reach or attain or get. So I'm also seeing some of that. I also see you feeling like you're on an emotional high during the month of April. And so I think that lots of things are kind of just going your way and feeling really positive. You know, whether you're in a relationship or not, I just see things going really well, tons of support. I see definitely socialization happening. There's definitely quite a bit of time for socialization. So that's all looking real good here. The next three cards that we have the Trust card. So this situation is calling you to have faith. So if we've been wanting something and asking for something, it is time for us to trust that, you know, it's on its way. We do have a lot of cards here that indicate receiving. So maybe we just need to trust that, you know, it is coming, it's on its way to us. But maybe we also just need to have a little bit more faith in our love life too, because it looks like it's going very positively. And if you do tend to have like some worries come up about like, oh, but is it going to stay positive? Is it going to keep getting this good? Trust it. This is heading you in the right direction. And the more that we, you know, put our energy towards what we do want, the more that what we do want grows and becomes more prominent in our life. We also have the card here of attraction. So there could be something that's really piquing your interest in the month of April. It might be like, yeah, just something that's sparking your attention. It's also interesting that this looks like it has, is that fire or like flowers on this card? I can't tell. Oh, it's like fire. I thought it was flowers for a second because I was going to say there's like flowers here and here, but it's fire, which just means like the passion is burning. It's burning bright. So there's definitely might be something that's capturing our attention. And the fact that she's like stopping to smell the roses, it kind of just seems like you're taking time to appreciate what your life is like during the month of April, and just appreciating, you know, all that you have and what's around you, and, you know, really giving your appreciation. Also, this could be somebody giving their appreciation to you as well, and making you feel, you know, really positive and really good. Especially, you know, this could even be somebody that you haven't seen in a long time that's just giving lots of appreciation to you. We also have the card of deception. So this card says that someone is wearing a false mask. I don't feel like this card actually has the prominent negative meaning that it usually does, especially not in this particular reading. I would say that this could even be somebody apologizing to you from the past. So if there is like an ex coming back into your life, which I don't think it's ex for most of you, this could also just be a friendship that's, you know, wanting to clear the air from the past, wanting to maybe even like congratulate you on your current like successes and your current happiness. But yeah, I think that this is more of like somebody kind of coming into your life from the past that maybe we just haven't seen in a while, and maybe we haven't had the best past with. And yeah, we might just be like running into them or somehow speaking to them at some point, and clearing the air on how the past went. And so with that being said, the next couple of cards that the next card actually fits in right with what we were talking about. Heal the ouch. That fits in perfectly with what we were just talking about. So yeah, somebody might be offering an apology to you because the Six of Cups is also connected to forgiveness and apologies, and making up for the past. So somebody who definitely might be wanting to apologize for maybe like hurting you or something like that. We also have the card here of education. So we might also be sort of like learning something. They could be talking to us about something where we kind of like learn a new side to maybe what happened within the past. Education can also be connected to that we're getting more interested and more engaged with our love life, and we're wanting to maybe learn more about how we can better ourselves for our current love life, or how we can better ourselves for our future love life, you know, depending on what is relevant to you. But I definitely see you wanting to maybe like grow and become better. We might also be learning some deep lessons through this sort of like healing of something from our past. I don't see this really bothering you that deeply though. I don't see it being like such a prominent thing that's going to like ruin your month at all. I honestly see this being a very beautiful thing that might be an addition to clearing old energy for you, while also you having a really great month, because the cards that we have leading up to that are just so positive and so good. It's just you kind of like, you know, doing your best. But I do also see some sort of maybe clearing of the past. This could also be just a clearing on your part, not wanting to be around people who have deceived you anymore. This could also be just you deciding like, hey, I just don't even want to be remotely connected to that. So there could be like some sort of like clearing and healing that you are going through because you're at such a different part of your life now. You're at such a different phase than you used to be. So it's kind of like, I don't want to talk about my past anymore. I don't want to be like attached to it anymore. I don't want to, you know, be seeing it pop up on my feed anymore, you know, like, so it's kind of like this desire of wanting to remove masks, wanting to be more authentic, wanting to be more real. This could also be a situation where maybe our past kind of comes up and then we're not wanting to like talk about it with the current people that are in our lives. And we're kind of like, I don't want to talk about that. But you know, there are some things that are important to say or whatever, but you know, maybe we're learning how to be more open and authentic. Because that's always the best way to do. That's always the best way to be. So yeah, I definitely see like the healings happening, all sorts of stuff like that. The next two cards that we have two animal cards. We have the rabbit card. We also have the moth card. Ooh, some transformation coming through. I like that. I also want to read the rabbit description because it's so, I don't know, it's like kind of relevant to what we were talking about with this deception and the Six of Cups and the Heal the Ouch card. So I want to read this one to you. It's like super relevant, but I wouldn't be able to like explain it as good as the description says. So we're just going to read the description of it. It says, "The rabbit loves to remind his friends that someday the eagle will swoop down and eat him. He talks and talks and talks about it so loudly, in fact, that one day the eagle hears and thanks him for the great idea. Rabbit energy is alive when we are scared, most often when we are scared about the future, and we become our own worst enemy. We spin up a dust cloud of fear and then complain to others that we are lost. Notice your thoughts and words. Oh, rabbit, they shape your destiny." So instead of like complaining about your worries so often that you end up manifesting them. So basically that card talks about when we worry so much that we end up sort of manifesting our worries. I think the month of April is about healing that and kind of more focusing on what you do want rather than what you don't want, right? So I think that you're moving out of this old phase where maybe we used to worry a lot and complain a lot and want to stir up a dust cloud for drama. This is like stirring up drama, basically. So we're sort of moving past that. We're going past that. We're realizing, you know what? I'd rather stick to like so much fun. You know, we're learning education. Look at that. The education in the rabbit. We are learning what we no longer want to be and who we no longer want to be surrounded by, or what we no longer want to, like, we can still be surrounded by the same friends, but we don't need to feed into the old paradigm anymore. We don't need to feed into the old ways of being where maybe we used to be full of drama and, you know, whatnot. Maybe we're wanting to move past that and heal from that. Also, the moth is all about transformation and basically about transformation. It's very connected to kind of Scorpio energy. And the moths, they are also super attracted to like flames, right? Like the moth and the flame. So this can also be talking about that we are kind of transforming what we used to be attracted to, what we used to like so much, what used to call our attention. So we might be transforming that and realizing what's really good for us versus what's not, right? So it kind of like connects with the rabbit really well, and the message of the rabbit. Because this is transforming maybe what you used to be interested in, what you used to spend your time doing, who you used to be interested in, and we're kind of just like kind of growing past that, and sort of like healing the past and becoming a new person, especially within our love life. So definitely seeing lots of transformation in your love life, and like with who you are and how you want to spend your time and what you are kind of manifesting in your love life, right? So then the next two cards, we have creativity, and then we also have beauty. Ooh, so maybe you're like more focused now on like, how can I get creative within my love life? How can I bring out beauty within my love life, rather than like focusing on the negativity, rather than focusing on the drama, rather than, you know, stirring up a dust storm and getting lost in it. Maybe we're desiring to be more focused on like, let's focus on beautifying my love life. How can I be an addition to my love life? You know, how can I start to trust my love life more? How can I start to trust myself more? And yeah, manifest more beauty, more creativity, more inspiration, where we feel like, ooh, like I could make this become whatever I put into it. Because if we're putting in dust storms and drama, of course, we're going to stir up a lot of energy, and it's not going to be very good. It's not going to go very well. But instead, we could be creative with that. We could start being creative with our energy and how we guide things, right? So how we bring up certain topics, how we, you know, celebrate and notice other people, how we, you know, communicate with other people. We can start to be more creative with that and create something more beautiful, more worth your time, your energy, and something that other people will really appreciate, you know? So maybe we're kind of focusing on like, how can we become better? And it looks like, honestly, with all the cards that we had prior to this too, it looks like your love life is like becoming so much better, and we're starting to surround ourselves with better people, and we're starting to celebrate the right things rather than kind of like focusing on old stuff and whatnot. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take our zodiac sign dice. We're going to roll it 3 times to get the top 3 zodiac signs that are most likely going to be the most prominent in your life in the month of April. So let's see, this could be somebody's sun, moon, or rising sign, or even a reflection of your own. We have Sagittarius coming in, Taurus coming in, and Gemini coming in. So Sagittarius, Taurus, and Gemini energy for the month of April. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take all these together to get any last info on this reading. All right, so we got some Jupiter energy, Jupiter in Gemini in the 9th house. Ooh, so we are changing our philosophy, and we're expanding our philosophy and what we think and what we're interested in. So this could be when we start getting interested in expanding who we are. This could even be expanding our friend group, or just expanding our knowledge in general and what we think about the world, our views on the world, who we spend our time with, and what we want to see ourselves develop into. So there's kind of an expansion here, and maybe just a total expansion of your philosophy. I'm really seeing an expansion of your mind and your philosophy about life and love, and how you choose to think and react in those situations, and kind of just wanting to expand to see more options rather than falling back on the same old options. You know what I mean? Sometimes we like learn a lot during childhood from our parents and seeing our parents' relationships. And then as we get older, we're realizing we're kind of emanating those same traits and qualities and attracting the same outcomes. And then we're like, wait a minute, I need to like create my own sort of reactions and perspectives and philosophies about love life if I want to create something kind of different. You know what I mean? So I definitely see you desiring to expand in those ways, but at the same time, there's also a lot of goodness happening. This can also be that we're desiring to travel. This can also indicate long distance relationships sometimes, or it can just indicate a desire to maybe have like a like a getaway, like a mini getaway to, I don't know, like reset yourself. So there could be a desire for that as well. So that is what I'm seeing here for you, group number 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I would love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye. All right, so group number 3, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be a reading, so we'll hop right into it. All right, so group number 4, let's get into it. We have the Hangman, we have the 7 of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the 7 of Cups, and then the Page of Pentacles. The first thing that's really sticking out to me is that over on these two sides, which are quite parallel to each other, we have 2 7 cards. And this really stood out to me, especially because the 7 of Wands is kind of like when we are either getting like defensive or feeling like we need to constantly like stand up for ourselves or constantly put a front up or have certain boundaries and like really like, I don't know, kind of like step up for yourself. It's kind of like being defensive and a little bit challenging at times. So either we're noticing that our love life can be a little bit challenging at times, or that we're sort of being challenging in our love life, you know? And maybe we're also noticing that our love life felt like it was on a little bit of a pause, and that it's kind of like been the same old for quite some time, because the Hangman can indicate that we are sort of just hanging. We're just hanging. And there's not much that's been moving forward, but there's not much that's been moving backwards either. It's kind of just been like the same old. The 7 of Cups, on the other hand, sort of indicates that there's a little bit of fear around making a decision. There's a little bit of fear around accepting love or accepting certain opportunities, because we're either scared like, oh, is it gonna be the same as like my exes, or is it gonna hurt me in the end? Is it gonna be something bad? Is it gonna be something good? I don't know. And so there's been almost like a little bit of walls up regarding letting love in, or, you know, allowing kind gestures to come through. It's almost like there's maybe even been defense when like somebody's maybe like said something to you or said something nice. There's almost like this front up where we're just like, okay, but are you lying though? Do you really mean it though? What's the catch? So there's kind of this energy of this defense that's sort of been coming up, and April is the month of becoming aware of that and starting to see our walls and what we've currently been doing and how it's kind of like keeping us in the same realm, I guess. And I'm also getting a vibe here, especially from the particular depiction of the Queen of Cups in this particular deck. It's kind of giving me a vibe of where we're kind of like, well, I can fill up my own cup. I don't need nobody to fill up my cup for me. And it's kind of like when we're rejecting kind offers, or we're almost like, we're not even sort of seeing the kindness that's being offered to us. Even if there is kindness being offered to us, we're almost like not even seeing it, and we're shutting it down before it even gets to us, because we're like, I don't need kindness from anybody. I could just do it myself, because I don't really, like, there's like trust kind of things that are coming up where we're kind of like, I don't know, reacting really quick. And I think it's because of your past. Like, your past has caused you to become very much in reaction mode, and to sort of be a little bit on edge, and to try to like constantly, yeah, kind of go through that. The month of April, though, is going to be about healing and sort of starting to take a look at things from a new perspective. We're needing a perspective shift in our love life, and April is the month that is going to help you switch perspectives, so that instead of like having a wall up, or instead of being like on defense mode or wondering like, what's the catch here? Instead of like constantly being that way, April is giving you a chance and an offer to kind of like look at things in a new way, of where we can allow emotions to begin flowing again. We can allow things to just flow instead of like being super defensive about things. You know, we could be on guard, but we don't have to be like getting defensive or controlling or standoffish or combative. We can just allow things to flow a little bit more easy and just guide the flow, rather than being like a whole dam in the river, you know? We can sort of just guide it instead. And so April is the month of kind of realizing that maybe we need to shift our perspectives a little bit in order to allow our love life to begin moving forward once again. Because it's almost like we're so scared of attracting the same thing over and over again. And maybe we've experienced like just a lot of negative situations without kind of seeing the positive of the situations. And so we're constantly just on guard of like, when's the next negative thing going to happen? When's the next negative thing going to happen? But it's not necessarily going to happen. Especially if we kind of just let things flow and we let our reaction time down a little bit, we become a little bit more at ease, we're going to notice that a lot of situations become more at ease and they begin flowing a lot easier. And then all the different possibilities of what we get from the universe or from other people end up shifting. And then there's a whole new realm of what we can experience in our love life as long as we just allow more flow and we allow more compassion. Once we open up our heart more and allow compassion and love out a little bit more and more understanding, things are going to get easier. But I understand that can be hard, so I'm not trying to like call you guys out for it. It's like, it can be difficult, so I understand you, I get you. But the month of April is just sort of bringing out a more compassionate side of you, a more understanding side of you. And through that, there's a possibility of getting completely new circumstances coming to you, completely new reactions and events that will be stemming from this shift in perspective, this shift in your mind, rather than seeing things in a negative way. Because the hangman, he can either see things constantly in a negative way, or he can shift his perspective to constantly see things in a good way. You know how our like reactions, actually there's a quote that I read this morning that's actually so relevant to this reading. I want to read it. Hold on. Okay. This quote fits with you guys really well. So I'm just going to read it. It says, "You have to learn the difference between someone disrespecting you versus you feeling disrespected. Emotional ears hear from a place of offense. Sometimes it's not what they said, it's what you are triggered by. And unless you know your triggers, you'll see everything as an attack." Right? Because the Seven of Wands, she sees everything as an attack. She thinks that everything's kind of like coming out for her and she's constantly needing to be in defense mode and reaction mode and being like, I can't believe you said that. I can't. Like, we need to heal our triggers. Queen of Cups is allowing things to just flow before reacting. If we allow things to begin to flow before just being in reaction mode all the time, we'll allow ourselves the time to see our triggers because we'll watch them float by and we're just like, And maybe even like having more emotional open talks with our friends, at least ones that we know we can trust and that we can come to and ask advice from, and we know that they're going to be honest. Maybe somebody who we can see has successful relationships, we can be like, hey, I need your honest opinion about like, this conversation that I had, with this person, and like, what do you really think about this? And like, what would your advice be? You don't have to live through another person's lens, but sometimes getting advice can be really helpful because we can kind of see how other people maybe kind of like navigate life or navigate certain situations, and it can help us kind of grow or add a new perspective, right? Add a new perspective, and which can allow us to expand and become more allowing. And also it'll help us realize that there's more ways of reacting than just one. There's more ways of dealing with things rather than being constantly on defense and offensive mode. Because when we're constantly on that mode, when we're constantly feeling like we're getting attacked, our reactions are going to be equal to that. If we constantly feel like whatever people are saying to us is an attack or is triggering us in some way, our reaction is going to be equal to that. We're going to react in a way that says like, I'm being attacked, which is going to make people feel like, oh, what? And then it's going to cause a very kind of like more negative scenario to play out. Whereas, if we can be so emotionally strong, Queen of Cups, you are gaining emotional strength in April. When we can gain that emotional strength and people say something that normally should be triggering or offensive, even if it was offensive, we don't even need to take necessarily offense to it, because we can realize that, whatever people say, it comes from them. It's not necessarily truth. So if people are like judging us or criticizing us, we don't actually need to take offense to that. We can just see that, oh, that's your perspective on life. Like, what a shitty perspective to have, like whatever. But even that kind of comes with a little bit of, even that reaction kind of comes with a little bit of judgmentalness. But, we can go through life kind of just enjoying stuff and realize that everyone's on a different path. Everyone's going to see things differently. And when we allow that, we allow things to flow. And then there's such a different reaction. So if we react, so say somebody's like completely screaming at you and yelling at you. If you scream and yell back, it's going to fuel that fire, right? But if somebody's screaming and yelling at you and you kind of just like stand there, and then maybe you, for one, if you don't react at all, they're going to slowly start to calm down and not want to yell, because they're kind of almost seeing their own, I don't know, energy. They're kind of like seeing how different, on a different level that they are, and they're kind of almost feeling like, oh, I'm the one with the problem. You know, they're kind of seeing their own fire, right? Or we can even react, you know, in a calm way, in a very kind way, and like trying to understand them and their perspective, and we just say it in a very calm way. It will immediately like dim out that flame and that fire and bring them to a more calm state. So your reaction does determine the outcome of pretty much almost every situation, right? So I think that in April, we're gonna sort of start to realize and reflect on the fact that we need to build up more of our emotions, and we might also need to change our reactions a little bit in order to kind of change the outcome of what we've been currently dealing with in our love life. And then the Page of Pentacles over here kind of shows that we are like setting a new foundation by the end of April. I think that you, group 4, are going to be setting a new foundation for your love life by the end of April. And this new foundation is going to be a lot more solid, and it's going to be like slower reactions. This is going to be more security, more sense of security within yourself, more confidence within yourself. And it's kind of like starting this new road for yourself. I really see you beginning a brand new road in your love life by the end of April, because we're sort of just like realizing so much about how our past was still affecting our lives today and why we're running into certain issues and problems. And we can be the solution to that. So I really see that just tons of emotional growth and tons of realizations that's really going to shift and change your entire direction in your life. The Page of Pentacles, you're taking on a brand new direction. You are learning things on a deeper level, seeing things on a deeper level. And this is going to really start to set a very solid foundation for your love life and for your future love life. So that is what we got going on there. Let's see the next few cards that we have. We have finances and career. Financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. So that could be relevant for some of you, but this can also be talking about like the amount of energy and time, because finances and career are also connected to the amount of energy that we're willing to spend and the time that we're willing to spend. So maybe we're realizing that the amount of energy and time that we have, maybe we need to just like recuperate a little bit more and do a little bit more self-love during the month of April, in order to kind of like build up enough energy and enough of a foundation to put time towards it again. We also have express your love. Oh my God, that's so fitting. So yes, instead of being in defense mode, you know, it's time to like start expressing your appreciation, your love. And this can also be somebody expressing their love to you in the month of April as well. And it could also be you just opening up your heart more in the month of April. And I think it's going to just really start to shift so much in your life, is the expression of more affection, more love, more appreciation, right? We also have new love. Ooh, group 4. Is there like a new interest? Because this can be a new interest coming in. Can be for some of you. Maybe there's like, but this can also be this could be talking about a new chapter of your love life. And I think it's because we're making all these realizations and we're having a shift in perspective. And this shift in perspective is going to allow a new chapter, a completely new chapter. In fact, this is like an entirely new book. We're closing the old book. We're done with the old book, and it's time to create a brand new book. So group 4, brand new book energy happening here, where we get to write a new story. We get to start a brand new book of our love life, and it's completely different from the last. We're entering a new phase, a new stage. We are learning so much more. But yeah, there could definitely be like something new blossoming within your love life, especially if you are single. If not, again, this is just a new whole like chapter or book of your love life that is taking place. So with that being said, next 2 cards, we have Field of Dreams. So yeah, I think that we're also realizing that we have more desires that we want to be fulfilled. But in order for them to be fulfilled, of course, we need to start a new book here rather than living in the past books, and letting the past books kind of still trigger us in certain ways. So field of dreams, we are opening our mind up to new possibilities. There's like a new wave of energy coming down to you, new inklings, new desires that are going to start to like come up for you. We also have deep freeze, so this can talk about that we've been emotionally closed off. So that one also is very fitting. And I think that you're going to be thawing out in the month of April. It's time to thaw ourselves out. Especially if we're wanting to open up this new book of our love story. You know, I really see like new desires flowing in, and as those new desires flow in, we're kind of realizing like, hey, we need to go through a thawing. We can't just be like cold anymore. We cannot, and maybe our love life has felt cold for the past little while. Maybe we've been feeling like it's been frozen, especially since we had the Hangman too. It's felt like it's frozen in time. This is going to begin thawing out by the end of April, and as you also sort of like thaw out, you're going to be opening up and allowing the flow once again, because water is associated with emotions, and they're symbolic of emotions. And so when we're frozen, our emotions are not flowing. We're not allowing emotions in. We're not acknowledging our emotions. They're literally just, they're frozen. They're inaccessible. The month of April is opening up the flow again. And this flow is going to allow you to sort of like create a new version of yourself, one that is more emotionally available and open and reacts differently as well, because they, instead of reacting in a way of where they just freeze up and then they close everything off and then they're just like, nope, done. Now, instead, it's like, let's actually just allow the flow to continue and let's sort things out in a calm manner instead of like avoiding it and freezing it and then going back into our frozen state. It's time to allow the flow. Group 4, it's interesting. You also chose the rose quartz, and rose quartz is all about self-love. And so we're needing to bring in a little bit more appreciation for ourselves, some self-love and some like compassion and just love in general. And as we bring out more of that love, this means we need to like unfreeze our emotions, unfreeze our heart, and start to allow the flow back in, to offer love. And when we exude love, others feel that too, and things just go in a little bit more of a flow. So I'm super curious what your animal cards are. I've been pulling animal cards for this reading, and we have camel, we have elephant. Ooh, so the camel is really interesting because they carry water in the humps of their back, right? And so they hold on to that. So there's emotions that have been being held on to that I think need to be released. And camels are also like the good navigators of the desert. So when we carry enough emotion within us, we can go through like any sort of thing. And you are a tough person. What I'm gathering from this reading, group 4, is you're a tough person. You're a strong person, a very strong person, very admirable person. But as we allow this flow back in, we allow ourselves to experience the goodness rather than, always experiencing the stuff that we need to push away. And the elephant's also interesting because they can grab water with their snout, their trunk, is that what's called? Their snout. But so both of these are very like, they have a kind of like watery energy about them just because they both they both have that. So it's time to like make it rain with your emotions. Like, let's allow it to open up and start to express our emotions, because I'm just seeing a lot of expression within the elephant. I also want to read the camel thing. It was actually kind of like really similar to what I was saying earlier, but I just want to read the one that is from the book, just because these cards are like, they offer such like deep wisdom in the book, I think. So the little paragraph that it has about the camel is, the camel can handle absolutely anything as it carries a wealth of nourishment within, just as we were talking about. And it just gives off a very like strong energy, right? This wondrous creature is self-reliant and handles challenge with ease, which reminds me so much of you in this reading. You're very self-reliant and you tend to handle a lot of situations in a very strong manner. So even in the face of heat, excess judgment, or anger, the camel searches inside for the cool elixir of water to calm the situation. So instead of being reactive, this card is actually associated with fire, but we can, instead of letting the fire burn, we can access the cool, calming emotions within us as we open them and not freeze them up. and we can calm the situation. So the camel represents the ultimate form of bringing opposites into balance, fire and water, right? The desert being fire and the camel holding water, and being responsible for one's own reactions. The camel is a wonderful traveler and is especially fond of trips to faraway lands. Okay, so yeah, I think the month of April is us realizing like, hey, I want to be in control of my own emotions and not allow my emotions to control me anymore. So that's a huge aspect of the camel. We're also going to go to the elephant, read the description of the elephant real quick. All right, so the elephant, which also is associated with fire in this deck, says, the elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck. Like Ganesh, the elephant represents immense wisdom as well as good fortune. Yes, I actually forgot to say that. Elephants resemble good luck and also deep wisdom. So it's kind of like you're learning so much during the month of April, and like, yeah, it's like a deep development month for you. And then it also says it is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles. So if this card appears when you feel stuck, we had the hangman. Oh my God, that's so accurate for you. Rest assured, the path will soon become clear. Whew. To add to the mystery, the elephant is also known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. So that's about creating boundaries, right? So if obstacles come up in the month of April, obstacles that feel out of your control, trust those. They're steering you in the right direction. So trust this gentle, noble creature. It illuminates the way with light of self-knowledge. Whoo, that's powerful. It's so like fitting. I love it. So with that being said, the last two cards that we have justice and love. So it's time to create more balance instead of things being one-sided, instead of like, you know, all that. This is about just speaking your truth, but coming from a place of love. Like, this is about bringing in love into your life. We have new love. We have love. Like, there is some love that I think is really waiting to come into your life, or love that has been wanting to be realized more and felt more and reassured more. This is about kind of like bringing back balance within your love life and sort of bringing back some deep knowledge. And justice also deals with boundaries as well. So kind of like the elephant. So setting proper boundaries to where our love life can flourish, but at the same time also opening up more in the areas that need to be opened up, like our emotions and things like that, but also adding boundaries upon, like, you know, what you value and what you really want to create your love life to be. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take our astro dice. We're going to roll the zodiac sign dice 3 times to get the top 3 zodiac signs that are most likely going to be the most prominent in your love life in the month of April. This could be somebody's sun, moon, or rising sign, or even a reflection of your own. So let's see what we get. We got some Leo energy. We got some Virgo energy. Leo again. And some Gemini energy. So Leo, Virgo, Gemini energy looks to be very prominent during the month of April. So now let's go ahead and roll all of these together to get any last info on this reading. All right, so we have the South Node, so that's talking about the past, in the sign of Aries, in the 9th house. So this is digging up our old belief systems, and now it's time for us to renew those old belief systems with the sign of Aries. It's time to push them in a new direction. And this is also your old belief systems with the way that we needed to be, the way that we needed to react or handle situations, because Aries is also the reactive energy. So I think that we're realizing our past philosophies and how they no longer serve us and how we need to shift and change that. So that whole, like, I don't know, the whole layout of dice is perfectly fitting in this reading. So that is what we have here. We're going to go through lots of transformation. Group number 4, tons of transformation that's going to shift your love life completely around. Like, April is the month of shifting it around to bring in more love into your life through awakening like some deep realizations within you, so that we can like shift this. We can unthaw our love life and it can start moving forward. This is all about the unthawing of your love life so that it can start moving forward again. So that is what we have here for you, group number 4. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I'd love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye! All right, so group number 5, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be a reading for the month of April for your love life, so let's hop right into it. So group 5, here is what we have for you. We have the Page of Cups, we have the 5 of Cups, we have the 4 of Cups being reversed, we have the Temperance, the 6 of Wands, the 2 of Wands, and then the Hermit over here. So let's get into it. First off, I'm noticing, since we start off with the Page of Cups, this can be that we are like something's going to happen that's going to allow us to kind of reach a better state emotionally, especially, within our love life. This could either be with, self-love, our emotions, things like that. When it's next to the 5 of Cups, this kind of indicates that either we've been allowing worries to kind of get the best of us lately, or we've been sort of like looking at the past and more focused on the flaws, more focused on the negative things that we've been through, or maybe we're even focused on our own like shortcomings too much, and it's been causing us to kind of like maybe get a little bit overwhelmed within our own emotions. But something's going to be happening within the month of April that kind of allows you to get past this actually, and to kind of like transform out of this old state of being and get into a much better state. So the Page of Cups symbolizes like either an offer or an idea or something that ends up happening, an event that happens, or something like this that is going to kind of give us a new perspective and give us a new thing to kind of be excited about and look forward to, and to kind of just feel better. And the 4 of Cups, when it's reversed, is actually a very positive card, because originally it's very similar to the 5 of Cups in the sense that it sort of talks about that we've been focusing on more of the negative. But since we have this sort of sequence right here, this is an offer coming in that gets us out of our old state of being and allows us to grab hold of this new positive direction, this new positive thought, this new positive emotion, this new kind of thing to kind of look forward to, or this new opportunity to kind of get out of our old states of being, right? And then with the Temperance over here, this talks about, it can talk about moderation, it can be talking about a journey that we're going on, grabbing hold of a new journey, and also finding more balance within our love life as well. So I think that you are beginning to kind of like pour your energy in a new direction. It's no longer kind of going in the old direction. All of these cards right here talk about flowing emotions in a new, better, positive direction rather than towards maybe negative or worries or things like that, fears that maybe used to kind of take over or come up. It's kind of like now we're sort of getting validation, or we're getting like, just something that's making us feel so much more better and allowing us to, again, start flowing our directions into somewhere that's positive, somewhere that's causing more emotional fulfillment, and also something that we're looking forward to, because this is something that we are looking forward to expanding, and a new journey that we're looking forward to. And we're looking at like, ooh, this has the potential to lead somewhere very positive, and I really want to see this out. I really want to follow this new inkling, this new emotion, this new kind of desire to see where that leads. We also have the 6 of Wands here, which is kind of when we're feeling at our best. And so I think that you are going to be like, your confidence is going to be uplifted in the month of April. We're feeling better. We're kind of feeling like we're coming out of our shell, And we also have the 2 of Wands here, which shows that we are sort of leaving behind our past and, again, really looking forward to this kind of new journey. These 2 cards definitely symbolize a new journey that we're headed on, and we're feeling very positive about it. And also like we are stepping into our confident shoes again, and we're feeling really good about ourselves. So all of this is really leading into a much positive direction, where we're getting out of negativity, we're getting out of a maybe negative sort of mindset or emotion that we've been in, and all that's kind of getting cleared, and now we're looking forward to this kind of like new future that's in front of us, and this new possibility that's in front of us, and we're so ready to kind of take that on and move forward with it. We also have the Hermit right here. So this can be when we're kind of coming out of our shell, is what I'm personally seeing within this. The Hermit can also signify that we're taking a deeper look within ourselves. So you might be awakening parts of yourself that have been asleep for some time. So maybe certain aspects of our emotions, our emotional states have been like asleep, and we're finally illuminating them. We're finally bringing light to them, and we're bringing them back to our consciousness. And yeah, it's like a reawakening of old dormant emotions. This can also be awakening deep emotions within you that maybe haven't ever been awakened before. And so we're getting on this sort of like new emotional train, new love train again, where things are finally coming back alive. We're feeling more awakened. than we have in a long time. So all good things here. Group number 5. Let's get into the next few cards here. So we have the honeymoon card. So there's definitely a sort of like destination that we're moving towards. Like honeymoon can also be read as there's sort of like a destination that we're moving to, right? Just as Temperance and the Two of Wands talk about this sort of destination in front of you, I think that there's going to be a lot more bliss and like a new direction that you're headed in that you're very excited about, because it's kind of like moving towards more romance, moving towards more blissful times where we feel a lot better. So I think it's definitely awakening in you deeper emotions, and we're kind of like moving in that direction to go kind of discover deeper emotions. We're on the path of discovering deeper emotions. We're on the path of kind of discovering new areas of our love life. We also have religious factors. So this one coming in. So maybe we're going to start to break. Religious factors doesn't have to always deal with religion. This can also be beliefs that we have about love. And that doesn't necessarily need to attach to religious beliefs, but beliefs in general, like beliefs that, oh, I'll never find love, or love is hard to find, or like, you know, nobody around me is interesting, or da 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 da. These are beliefs that we tell ourselves, right? And they're not truth, they're not fact. It's just our limitation of our current belief of what we currently have experienced, right? So this, I think in the month of April, that for this card coming up, would indicate that we are actually starting to realize some of our limitations and finally breaking free from them, just as we kind of show like throughout the beginning here. Is like we're breaking out of those belief systems and we're realizing that there's more possibility in front of us, and we're getting really excited about it, and we're moving in that direction. We're moving in the direction of awakening certain parts of ourselves, breaking out of old limitations and realizing that those were just limitations. Those weren't actual factual reality. They weren't actually hindering us. It was more of a belief system that we had. Then we also have worth waiting for. So the best love is always worth waiting for, as we know. And I think that you're also kind of realizing in the month of April that things do take time, and they take time to sort of cultivate. They take time to sort of happen. But this new desire of yours, it's like, this is worth waiting for, and we're ready for this journey. We're ready to go on this journey of like awakening deeper emotions within us. We're ready for this journey of like, you know, reaching new heights, new levels, new depths within our love life, and reaching new goals within it as well. And having like certain visions come up of what you want to experience, because some of you might even want to experience traveling with a partner, because we have the Two of Wands, we have the Temperance, and the honeymoon card. So some of you might even desire to like start traveling with a loved one, or desiring to attract a mate that you can travel with. Or if you're currently in a relationship, there might be bigger desires like, I want to experience like the fun of life again, where we go and step into newness rather than having the same old patterns and routines. Because sometimes when we're stuck in the same old, it can get kind of boring and stagnant, and we can get kind of like depressed, right? And I don't mean to use that word just so freely, but like, it can cause us to get emotionally stagnant and sort of sad. But I think that in the month of April, we're kind of realizing that we have new dreams and new goals. We're realizing like, hey, if I had that, like I would feel so much better. And so we're kind of realizing like, hey, I want to go out and actually create that. I want to create more travel for myself, or travel for me and my partner, or like, you know, stepping into something new, stepping out of our same old routine, and, you know, stepping into something new. And we're realizing like, hey, we might have to wait a little bit for it, because maybe we can't just like go step into like traveling with someone right now. Maybe we can't go step into like, you know, saying F it to our schedules and just diving into like an airport and hopping off somewhere. Like maybe we're just gonna have to wait a little bit for it, but we're at least looking forward to something. April is stirring up the energy to where we're realizing what we want, and then realizing, hey, that's a goal, and I'm gonna reach that. I'm not gonna just sit around letting life pass me by. I want to reach these goals. I want to do these things. And so that is something that's coming up in your love life in April. The next two cards, ooh, we have wishing well. So yes, you're realizing what you deeply desire in the month of April, and kind of like making that claim. And you're sort of telling yourself like, hey, this is my goal. This is what I want to reach. We're dropping the coin down the wishing well, and we're like, hey, I'm making this known. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to now start to strive towards and put my energy towards creating in my life. So you're definitely realizing what you really desire in your love life and what you really want to do. We also have this sad embrace card. So we're realizing, hey, we've been kind of feeling off lately because we've allowed our love life to kind of maybe get a little bit more stagnant, and we've gotten kind of used to it, but we haven't been adding the spice of it anymore. We haven't been adding the sense of newness, and we're kind of going to be searching for a sense of newness again to sort of bring up the spice of life again. You know, when you're like imagine working the same job for 20 years. And if you have done that's fine. But I'm sure that we've all kind of experienced that sense of like, I want a sense of challenge. I want a sense of mystery again. I want a sense of, the beauty of like discovering something new, the beauty of doing something different outside of my normal routine and schedule, like that sort of vibe. We've all kind of been there when we kind of get stagnant like that. And so I think that for you in the month of April is sort of realizing again what you really want, sort of realizing what has been making you more sad or off lately. And I think for most of you, at least listening to this, it's going to deal something with the fact that we just desire a sense of newness here. And we need to focus on what we actually are striving towards. Because when we have no goals to reach, life gets stagnant. We feel uncreative. We feel like we're not moving towards anything. We're feeling like we're just kind of like waking up doing the same thing over and over again, but nothing to strive towards. And when we get like that, we can definitely get down on ourselves. And so when we have things that we're desiring to look forward to, when we start to think about, okay, what do I want to experience? When we start to realize and plan out and ask ourselves, what do I want in my future? And we have certain goals that we want to reach, then we get revitalized. We get revitalized with energy of like, I want to make that happen. I'm so excited to make that happen. How can I make that happen? Like, it's revitalizing us. So the month of April is sort of kind of bringing out that energy of revitalization through making new goals. The next two cards that we have Crow and Dragon. Oh, Dragon's one of the most powerful cards in this deck. The Crow deals with kind of like the scavenger. We're scavenging for gems, right? We're focusing on transformation because the crows also are about transformation. Their black feathers talk about like protection and transformation. So we're sort of realizing that maybe it's time to transform part of our lives and to, again, start searching for what we do want. It's time to be a scavenger and start asking ourselves, like, what would light up my life? Where can I find like the gem of life again? Where can I like start to focus on like what I do desire? Especially when feeling like our love life is again like stagnant or hasn't been moving forward. It's probably because there hasn't been new goals coming up. There hasn't been something to be excited about. But April's about finding that new gem. And then the Dragon is a very powerful card. In fact, I'm going to read the thing in the book just because I noticed that the book has like really beautiful things for these cards. Let's see here. This is like the one oracle deck that I enjoy taking the book out for. So this card says, the dragon sees everything. Its essence has been with us since before our first breath and will be here at our last. It watches us navigate the external world as well as our inner world. When dragon energy is awakened, we are courageous, visionary, and can easily drop into witness consciousness. It's almost as if we have been traveling with a great friend inside of ourselves. Oh, wow. Okay, so traveling came up there. When we look in the mirror, deep in our eyes, we may even glimpse the self behind the self, the one who is watching us. So basically talking about our awareness, our consciousness. This is the power of the dragon, breathing transformative fire into every cell of our bodies. Witnessing this omnipotent energy, even for a brief moment, helps us surrender and let go. When we let the dragon guide us, we hop on its back for a ride, and as we traverse even the most difficult terrain. The dragon's eyes see beauty everywhere, and it is said that if a yogi does not see beauty in the world, their Agni is dim. The Agni is described as inner fire or sacred intelligence. May even just the mention of the dragon stir the embers of intelligence within you. Ooh. So it's relighting up that fire. That's the part that I think is like the most relevant for you, is like the stirring up of the fire once again and starting to breathe the fire of life again, rather than kind of like focusing on maybe the negativity or the fact that it's been stagnant or like, whatever. This is reigniting your fire, the fuel for life, the fuel for like the excitement, and we're getting past limiting beliefs because maybe we didn't believe that we had the ability for something more. Maybe we didn't believe that we had the ability to shoot for higher heights, you know what I mean? And so now with the dragon, this is helping us reignite that flame within us so that we get re-excited and we're searching for more and going for more here. The last two cards that we have before we get into our Astro dice, we have health and romance. So there could even be a focus here on our health. This could be our mental health, realizing that it's not good for our mental health to kind of like stay in the old. So maybe we're getting to a new, better state mentally by reigniting romance in our life, by reigniting something that we're excited about, by reigniting passion. And I really see romance being like a new contributing factor of something that we're either, again, striving towards or now realizing that we have the ability to create that and experience that. So, you know, let's start to go for that. And I really see like, yeah, mental health and emotional health kind of, you know, being aided, being healed, finally beginning to heal those aspects and those areas of us. So I see you kind of opening up your heart more too with this. It's kind of like your heart begins to blossom and open. And again, it's like fueling that fire with that dragon card. And then the crow is like standing on the jewel, which is sort of like its prized possession. It was looking for it for so long. So whatever you've been looking for, whatever you've been hoping for, we're now starting to see the light of that being able to enter our lives, breaking through those limitations and realizing like, hey, I have desires that I want to reach and it's time to reach those. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take our Astro dice. We're going to take the zodiac sign dice. We're going to roll it 3 times to get the top 3 zodiac signs that are most likely going to be the most prominent in your love life in the month of April. This could be somebody's sun, moon, or rising sign, or even a reflection of your own. So let's see what we get here. We have Gemini coming up. Gemini again, lots of Gemini energy here. We have Aquarius energy and Leo energy. Gemini, Leo, and Aquarius energy for the month of April. So let's go ahead and roll all these together now to get any last information on your reading. All right, so we have Mars being in Virgo in the 11th house. So this is beginning to wanting to expand. This can also be about travel too, because the 11th house can deal with the world and worldly events and can often indicate travel as well as the 9th house. But Mars is like taking action. So now we're taking an action on healing, making new routines as well, because Virgo is about our routines. It's also about deep healing. So we're realizing maybe we want to like switch things up and expand ourselves. The 11th house is also about expansion and wanting to also heal and kind of broaden your perspective. This can be opening up to new belief systems, looking at things outside of the box. So taking action on ideas that are maybe outside of our normal realm and realizing that we want to add in more to our lives and kind of expand our lives in many different ways. So that's totally fitting with your reading group number 5. So I hope you enjoyed this. Also, malachite is connected to the heart chakra. I'm also wearing a malachite ring today. But malachite's very connected to the heart chakra, and that can be indicating some heart healing going on in the month of April as well. So it's no wonder you're attracted to that. And that is what we have for you, group number 5. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I would love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye.